Recollections of Professor Alberto Ayala Moreno. The teacher José del Carmen Mejía was the first cousin of my maternal grandmother, Narcisa Mejía, who was married to Daniel Moreno, an adventurous man who had disappeared from family life, submerging himself in the whirlpool of the search for gold, the latex of the rubber tree in the harvest of sarsaparilla root, which grew in abundance in the jungle of the province of Darien and established itself in the richness of the fountain of natural resources in the region at the time. This teacher Mejía, with great social sensitivity, had elevated the cultural level of the area, improvising classes in the open air for children and adults, especially for the Choco Indians, who were accustomed to giving away their small children. José del Carmen Mejía promoted the humanitarian and proper adoption of abandoned Choco children. I remembered that our family had adopted a boy named Hernan, whom we treated as a brother. Maria Felix Moreno Mejía had arrived at a very young age from Yavisa, El Darien, to the capital of Panama, and she worked in the industrial factory of the old French Bazaar, making clothes for men in front of the Santa Ana Park. It was there that Maria Felix met Ricorte Tomás Noriega, who was a public accountant for the governmental administration of the Internal Revenue. Noriega had been married twice, and he had 4 adolescent children, 3 from the first marriage and 1 from the second. From this man, she became pregnant and gave birth to Manuel Antonio. Maria Felix, a very attractive, good-natured woman who had been queen of her company's celebration in the village of Yavisa in commemoration of the patron San Jose in the 19th of March, accepted her role as a single mother. Her family members tell the story that she was so happy and such a dancer that even being pregnant, about to give birth, she enjoyed the carnival. And on that Sunday, watching the parade of floats and marching bands, she had to be rushed by emergency with the pain of contractions to the Hospital Santo Tomás, where she gave birth that same day in the maternity ward. Afterward, she left for El Darien with her son Manuel Antonio to attend to her mother Narcisa, who was very sick and alone because her husband Daniel had disappeared into the jungle looking for gold, the rubber tree, and the sarsaparilla. Upon the death of her mother, Maria Felix fell ill from the punishment of the jungle region, malaria, which left her with tuberculosis. In order to avoid her son contracting the disease, and by order of her doctor, she delivered him to the guardianship of her intimate friend and godmother, the teacher Luisa Sanchez, who afterward was transferred to the capital city and took the son of Maria Felix. The teacher Luisa, a single woman, dedicated to her role as an educator, included the son of Maria Felix in her first grade class, where he passed all of the regular material even though he was not yet of school age. Manuel Antonio's mother died without him ever seeing her or knowing her love. Later on, with the authorization of his father, Ricorte, his aunt Regina Moreno claimed custody of Tony Noriega. He was living in the same area as the public market, on the shore of the beautiful and historic Bay of Panama, in the building at 27 North Avenue, above the construction company Avila in the hill to the presidency adjacent to the January 2nd Plaza. At 27 North Avenue, we lived through the years of primary school and the years of secondary school in the cradle of Panamanian nationalism, the National Institute, called with pride the Nest of Eagles. There, in the top floor of the building at number 27, stayed 8 families in small apartments. Most were married couples who gave shelter to students that came from the provinces to study in the secondary schools in the capital. The top floor seemed like the busy honeycomb of a beehive when school let out, with the different colors of the uniforms of the boys and girls. In one of these rooms, Manuel Antonio was under the strictly ordered guidance of his aunt Regina Moreno de Delgado, whom he lived with, along with her husband José and his 2 cousins José Alcides and Yolanda Estela. I, Alberto Ayala, the narrator of these events, lived with my mother, Flora Morena Mejía, and my sister, Elsa America Ayala, in the adjacent apartment. The daily life of young students was common for all the residents of the neighborhood. That is, go to school and then study together or separately in their rooms, or in the open spaces of the public areas, such as the long, wide balconies that overlooked North Avenue and 13th Street, which led to the old secret police. The recreational games were on Saturdays and Sundays in the open spaces on the streets of the January 2nd Plaza, the Presidency of the Republic, the Plaza of France, or in the areas used for skating or playing ball, or the beaches of Santo Domingo for swimming. Since José Delgado was chief mechanic of Lefebvre, a coastal trading company, Manuel Antonio and his cousin José Alcides learned about the ports of the Pacific coast and the routes of the trading ships. Their school vacations were spent traveling from the ports of El Darien to the port of Pedregal in Chiriquí, passing by Mensabe and Guarare in the central provinces. They also spent seasons on the island of Taboga, where José Delgado came from with his enormous family. These trips on board the trading ships developed in the boys' culture and experience, not only from seeing the different regions and customs of the country, but also from hearing the stories and tales of the sailors on the ship during the 2 or 3 days and nights of sailing.